Hello, welcome to this channel. Today we will learn about the explosive confrontation that has all of Salem talking as Chad DiMera comes face to face with Jeremy Horton in a heated argument that centers on Chad's son, Thomas, and the appropriateness of their relationship as teacher and student. The tension between these two men has been building for days, and when they finally meet to discuss the situation, sparks fly in a way that no one could have anticipated, threatening to expose secrets and destroy the fragile peace that both men have been desperately trying to maintain in their respective lives. A father confronts his son's teacher. The confrontation between Chad and Jeremy is nothing short of explosive, with both men bringing their own perspectives and deeply held convictions to what should have been a simple parent-teacher conversation. Chad arrives at the meeting already on edge, his emotions raw from the recent breakup with Kat Green and the ongoing struggles with his son Thomas, who has been acting out in increasingly concerning ways. When Jeremy attempts to offer fatherly advice about how Chad should handle Thomas's emotional turmoil, the DiMera patriarch's patience snaps completely. Chad makes it abundantly clear that he has absolutely no interest in receiving parenting guidance from someone whose own life choices have been questionable at best and criminal at worst. The argument quickly escalates as Chad questions whether Jeremy has any business being in a classroom with impressionable children, let alone offering counsel to parents about their family dynamics. Jeremy, to his credit, stands his ground and defends his transformation, insisting that he has genuinely changed and that his past mistakes do not define who he is today. He argues that everyone deserves a second chance and that his connection with Thomas, both as his teacher and as a distant family member, puts him in a unique position to understand what the boy is going through. The heated exchange reveals fundamental differences in how these two men view redemption, forgiveness, and the ability of people to truly change their nature. Chad sees a con man and criminal who has somehow managed to slip through the cracks of the background check system, while Jeremy sees himself as a reformed individual who has found his true calling in education. The confrontation leaves both men shaken and raises serious questions about what will happen next, particularly regarding Jeremy's position at the school and his ongoing relationship with Thomas, the teacher with a troubled past. Understanding the full scope of why Chad is so concerned requires examining Jeremy Horton's complicated history and his unexpected return to Salem. Jeremy is not simply some random teacher who happened to end up in Thomas's classroom. He carries with him a past filled with serious criminal activity that would alarm any parent who discovered the truth. During his previous time in Salem, Jeremy participated in dubious financial schemes that defrauded innocent people of their hard-earned money, showing a callous disregard for the harm he caused. Even more disturbing, he was involved in trafficking women from the United Kingdom for sex work, a heinous crime that destroyed lives and demonstrated a profound moral bankruptcy. Jeremy also exhibited deeply troubling abusive behavior in his romantic relationships, with one particularly horrifying incident where he nearly drowned his then-girlfriend Stephanie Johnson by forcibly submerging her head in a hot tub during an argument. To escape legal consequences for his numerous offenses, Jeremy fled Salem, leaving behind a trail of victims and unanswered questions. He managed to get his criminal record expunged through legal channels, which means that the parents at Thomas's school remain blissfully unaware of the dark past that their children's teacher is hiding. Jeremy has abandoned his previous career as a pilot and has instead discovered what he claims is a genuine calling in education, having earned his teaching certification after volunteer work revealed a natural connection with children. He currently serves as a long-term substitute teacher for the 5th grade class at the local elementary school, where Thomas DiMera is among his students. The fact that Jeremy and Thomas are distant cousins through the Horton family tree, Jeremy's father Mike is the older brother of Thomas's grandmother Jennifer, adds another layer of complexity to an already fraught situation. For Thomas, who is desperately seeking a male role model he can trust while dealing with anger toward his father, having a relative who seems cool and understanding feels like a lifeline. For Chad, however, Jeremy's presence in his son's life represents a threat that he cannot ignore, particularly given the vulnerable emotional state Thomas is currently experiencing. Paradise Found. In stark contrast to Chad's turmoil, Alex Kyriakis and Stephanie Johnson are experiencing what can only be described as the absolute pinnacle of relationship bliss. Everything in their lives seems to be falling perfectly into place, creating a fairy tale romance that has everyone in Salem talking about how lucky they are. Stephanie's deeply personal novel, which she poured her heart and soul into while working under the pen name Anastasia Sands, has been published and is experiencing tremendous commercial success that has exceeded even her wildest dreams. The book, titled One Stormy Night, was championed from the very beginning by Kate Roberts Brady, who recognized its potential and fought to bring it to readers. Now it's flying off the shelves and generating buzz in literary circles, establishing Stephanie as a talented author with a bright future ahead of her. Alex, meanwhile, is basking in the glory of a major family victory that has restored the Kyriakis' legacy and secured their financial future for generations to come. The Kyriakis clan has successfully reclaimed their beloved company after a bitter battle, and Alex played a crucial role in making that happen. Together, this power couple represents everything that is right with Salem at this particular moment in time. Alex's natural charisma and undeniable charm combined with Stephanie's stunning beauty and creative brilliance make them the envy of everyone who sees them together. They complement each other perfectly, finishing each other's sentences and supporting one another's dreams with unwavering dedication and genuine love. Their relationship seems absolutely bulletproof, impervious to any outside forces that might try to tear them apart or dim the radiant light they shine together. Nothing and no one appears capable of disrupting this perfect harmony as they navigate their intertwined futures with confidence, optimism, and an unshakable belief in their love for one another. The ghost of relationships past. However, even the strongest foundations can be tested by unexpected complications, and Jeremy Horton's return to Salem brings with it the potential to disrupt Stephanie's happiness in ways that neither she nor Alex fully anticipated. Jeremy and Stephanie share a deeply troubled romantic history that left lasting scars on her psyche and caused trauma that she still hasn't fully processed. When Jeremy shows up at Stephanie's door holding flowers and claiming that he's changed, that he's no longer the man who hurt her so badly, Stephanie's immediate reaction is fear. She is genuinely afraid of him based on their past interactions, and that fear doesn't simply evaporate because he says he's different now. What makes the situation even more complicated is that Stephanie's novel, One Stormy Night, includes a character that is clearly based on Jeremy and their toxic relationship. She used a pseudonym for the character just as she used a pen name for herself, but anyone familiar with the real events would recognize the parallels. Stephanie lives in constant fear that Jeremy will read the book, recognize himself in its pages, and figure out that she is the author behind the Anastasia Sands pseudonym. If that happens, there's no telling how he might react, especially given his history of violence and his fixation on her. Stephanie's anxiety intensifies when she learns that Jeremy has become Thomas D. Mera's substitute teacher, putting him in close proximity to people she cares about. She considers warning Chad about what she knows regarding Thomas's teacher and his dangerous past, but she's afraid that revealing this information will only make the situation worse. She didn't even tell her boyfriend Alex the whole truth about her history with Jeremy because she doesn't want him to start trouble. When Alex threatened to go after Jeremy if it turned out he had hit Stephanie, she quickly shut down that line of thinking because she knows the trouble Jeremy would bring Alex in retaliation wouldn't be worth it. Needless to say, Stephanie doesn't believe Jeremy when he claims he's changed for the better and that he would never return to a life of crime and abuse. Heartbreak and consequences. Chad D. Mera's romantic life has imploded spectacularly, leaving him emotionally devastated and questioning every decision he's made since losing his beloved wife Abigail. His relationship with Kat Green, which had seemed promising and had given him hope that he could find love again, came crashing down in the most painful way possible. The catalyst for the breakup was Thomas's explosive reaction when he discovered the truth about his father's involvement with Kat, who had previously pretended to be his deceased mother Abigail as part of an elaborate scheme. Thomas, who is still grieving deeply and struggling with the reality that his father has moved on, reacted with understandable anger and hurt that manifested in increasingly concerning behavior. The boy lashed out verbally and emotionally, unable to process the complicated feelings swirling inside him as he watched his father build a new life with someone who had deceived their entire family. Faced with his son's pain and the damage that continuing the relationship would cause, Chad made the agonizing decision to end things with Kat rather than risk further traumatizing Thomas. The breakup conversation was heartbreaking for both parties involved. Kat dissolved into tears when Chad broke the news, her heart shattered by the sudden end to a relationship she had genuinely believed had a future. She had fallen for Chad, seeing in him the possibility of real love and redemption after her own troubled past, and losing that hope devastated her. However, Kat proved herself to be resilient in the face of heartbreak. After allowing herself time to grieve and process the loss, she pulled herself together and redirected her focus toward her professional responsibilities with the ISA. This decision to throw herself into her work provides both a necessary distraction from her emotional pain and an opportunity to do something meaningful that could help others. Secrets and justice. Kat Green's commitment to doing what's right remains unshaken despite her personal heartbreak, and she continues her important undercover work with dedication and focus. During her ISA operations, Kat has stumbled upon extremely damaging information about E.J. DiMera, the kind of explosive secrets that could destroy reputations, end careers, and potentially result in criminal prosecution. Rather than keeping this intelligence to herself or using it for personal gain or revenge, Kat makes the principled decision to share everything she knows with Rafe Hernandez, Salem's dedicated police commissioner who has been working tirelessly to uncover the truth about EJ's questionable activities. The information Kat provides could be the missing piece that Rafe needs to finally bring EJ to justice and hold him accountable for his actions. She delivers this crucial intelligence without hesitation, proving that her sense of justice and duty transcends personal considerations. Her willingness to share concerns with Rafe serves a dual purpose in her life at this difficult moment. On one level, it allows her to contribute meaningfully to an important investigation that could protect innocent people from EJ's machinations. On another level, it provides a much-needed distraction from the heartbreak she's experiencing over losing Chad and the future they might have had together. As Kat opens up to Rafe about her concerns and the evidence she's gathered during her visits to various sites connected to EJ's operations, including the new free clinic construction site where she's been secretly photographing the layout, she finds a sense of purpose that helps ease the sting of romantic rejection. The information she shares with Rafe is detailed, specific, and potentially career-ending for EJ, marking Kat as someone who refuses to let personal setbacks prevent her from fulfilling her professional obligations and standing up for justice in Salem, no matter the cost to herself or her relationships. Part 2: Greg Rikaart's transformation as Leo Stark, from comic relief to emotional powerhouse in his 2025 Daytime Emmy-nominated performance. Every now and then, a performance comes along in daytime television that reminds viewers why soap operas have endured for more than half a century. In 2025, that performance belonged to Greg Rikaart, whose portrayal of Leo Stark on Days of Our Lives moved from sharp-tongued humor to profound emotional depth. This year, Rikaart earned a Daytime Emmy nomination for Best Lead Actor, marking a milestone in a career that has already spanned over 2 decades and several unforgettable roles. For years, Leo Stark has been one of Days of Our Lives' most unpredictable characters, equal part schemer, comedian, and survivor. But this season, Rikaart steered Leo into new territory. What had once been a mischievous, flamboyant grifter became something much more human, a man grappling with guilt, morality, and the terrifying prospect of fatherhood. The emotional centerpiece of his performance, a heartfelt monologue where Leo speaks to baby Jude about his fears for the boy's future, resonated deeply with audiences and Emmy voters alike. From villainy to vulnerability. When Leo Stark first arrived in Salem in 2018, viewers met a charming con artist with an eye for opportunity and a razor-sharp tongue. Introduced as part of a plot to ensnare Sonny Kiriakis, Freddie Smith, Leo was manipulative, confident, and always one step ahead. He schemed, flirted, blackmailed, and joked his way through the lives of Salem's most powerful residents. He was meant to be trouble, and Greg Rikaart made sure he was. Over the years, Leo became one of the show's most entertaining figures, a welcome source of levity amid the constant heartbreak and drama that Days is known for. But even the most seasoned fans couldn't have predicted how his story would take such a serious and emotional turn in 2024, when he found himself at the heart of the Baby Jude storyline. The Baby Jude storyline, a turning point. The saga began when Sloane Peterson, Jessica Surfety, and Melinda Trask, Tina Huang, conspired to pass off Nicole Walker's, Ariane Zucker, missing newborn as Sloane's adopted son. It was a story steeped in deception and heartbreak, and Leo, true to form, stumbled into the middle of it. At first, Leo saw the situation as an opportunity, a secret he could use to his advantage. But what started as blackmail quickly evolved into something that neither Leo nor the audience expected, a moral reckoning. As Leo spent more time with the innocent baby at the center of the deceit, his conscience began to erode his usual bravado. Guilt and empathy crept in. The same man who once saw people as pawns in his schemes suddenly found himself cradling Jude and whispering fears about the boy's uncertain future. These moments stripped Leo down to his emotional core. No jokes, no sarcasm, just raw humanity. Greg Rikaart's powerful monologue. Rikaart chose this transformation, and one particular scene, as the centerpiece of his 2025 Daytime Emmy submission. In it, Leo holds baby Jude in his arms, his voice trembling as he contemplates the lies surrounding the child's life. He speaks not as a conman, but as a man haunted by guilt and longing, a man who realizes that, for perhaps the first time in his life, he wants to do something right. Viewers described the moment as gut-wrenching and unexpectedly tender. In a single monologue, Rikaart peeled back layers of flamboyance and sarcasm to reveal a frightened, yearning man struggling to make sense of his own moral compass. The scene cemented Leo as one of Salem's most dynamic characters, and reminded audiences of Greg Rikaart's incredible range. A storied career in daytime. For longtime soap fans, Greg Rikaart's name is already legendary. He first joined the daytime world in 2003 on The Young and the Restless as Kevin Fisher, a role that would earn him a Daytime Emmy Award and decades of devoted fans. When Rikaart crossed over to Days of Our Lives in 2018, it was initially a surprise. Few actors successfully inhabit two major soap roles at once. Yet, for a time, Rikaart managed exactly that, balancing Kevin's neurotic warmth on one show with Leo's biting wit on another. Now, years later, Rikaart's dedication to the craft continues to impress. His decision to pivot away from Leo's usual comedic material and instead showcase a quieter, more emotional performance demonstrates both courage and maturity as an actor. It's not easy to reinvent a character audiences have known for years, but Rikaart did just that, and in doing so, earned the kind of recognition that only comes when comedy meets true heart. The evolution of Leo Stark. Leo's transformation mirrors the evolution of many classic soap characters. Like the best anti-heroes before him, he has been both sinner and savior, victim and manipulator. Salem has seen him blackmail his way into luxury suites, flirt his way out of danger, and even fake his own death, but through all of it, he has remained strangely endearing. This time, though, viewers weren't laughing at Leo's antics, they were empathizing with his pain. As he wrestled with whether to reveal the truth about baby Jude's parentage, fans saw a side of Leo they hadn't before, vulnerable, conflicted, and even noble. His decision to come forward, despite the danger to himself, marked a profound shift in the character's journey. When Leo finally told Nicole and E.J. DiMera, Dan Feuerriegel, the truth, he hoped for redemption. Instead, he was met with disbelief and rejection. The heartbreak of that moment, when honesty only brought him humiliation, was one of the most striking moments of the year. Why this performance matters. Greg Rikaart's portrayal of Leo Stark in 2025 isn't just a triumph for one actor, it's a reminder of why daytime television remains so vital. Soap operas have always been about transformation, of characters, relationships, and human hearts. Through Leo, audiences witnessed a man who, after years of running from his past, finally stopped to face it. In the world of Days of Our Lives, redemption is rarely simple. But through Rikaart's nuanced work, Leo's path toward self-forgiveness feels earned and deeply moving. His scenes with baby Jude show that even the most flamboyant trickster can carry profound tenderness, and that even those who've caused pain are capable of change. A nomination worth celebrating. With his 2025 Daytime Emmy nomination, Greg Rikaart joins a select group of performers who have managed to reinvent their long-running characters in fresh and powerful ways. His portrayal